Hey guys, how's it going? Today I want to speak about the subject of why are artists undervalued? I felt like I needed to tackle on the subject simply because, well, I'm an artist. If I'm making videos like this and all that, well, I'm an artist. And the thing is that one of the main reasons why we undervalue artists is that we actually take it for granted. We don't realize how valuable they are, even though we watch TV all the time, we listen to music, we go to the theater. Heck, even all the commercials and all the billboards that we see everywhere, and even the architecture and everything, well, everything is art. So why are they undervalued? Because it's fun, because we don't realize that there's a lot of hard work put into making a movie, or there's a lot of hard work that is put into making X and Y painting, because we are entertained by it. We often look at work as something that is dreaded, something that is not fun to do, something that takes a lot of effort, that is kind of sacrificing time in order to have money, in order to make your company thrive better through your work. And then once we have something like art, where it's colorful, where it can make us travel to different places, where the stories that are told are stories that can make us dream, then we kind of get into that pattern where we think, oh, well, that's not work, so why should it be paid? If it's pleasurable, then there's no reason to get the person paid or to have this considered as something that is more than what it is. So I don't think that we don't value this, because people enormously enjoy many things that have to do with art. But because they're not part of that world, they just see it there and they just like it. And they don't think, oh, well, this is not being made just because it's artistic, but because it creates money. And there's a level of art in it, which is the downfall of these things. But at the same time, all these big companies, if they weren't profiting in some way, money-wise, by these artistic endeavors, be it making Marvel films with a ton of CGI and creating all this work for artists, then we wouldn't be having all these films. And it's undervalued because it's not considered artistic. And then what we think of art is the painter or the actor on a stage and stuff like that. But art goes many other ways. It goes much further. As I said, it goes to architecture, it goes to music, it goes to the little jingle that you hear in a commercial. People are getting paid to do that. But then when it comes to the other things, such as the person being the actor or the person creating something fun, we are not acknowledging that as work, because it is fun to do, even though it's a ton of hard work to achieve the levels that need to be achieved in order for things to look good and things to look fun. And that's something that maybe needs to change one day. But for that, people would need to realize, and governments would need to also change their way that they represent that stuff. And then the amount of people that are trying to get into these fields would have to narrow down to a point where, first of all, you wouldn't accept doing work for free or for very cheap. And then people that are creating these projects would have to pay more. But at the same time, in order to break through, because there is not as much work as we would want it to be, I'm taking the example of the movie industry, there's a lot of students and a lot of indie filmmakers and stuff that are trying to create micro budget films, and by doing so they can't pay people a lot because they're hoping that by making a good quality product they may kind of break through that door, that invisible wall, and get into that world of the paying person. So I don't know if it is really up to the general public to really realize if art needs to be valued or not, because it doesn't matter so much. Because it's not because the public sees as art as being more valuable that necessarily the people who have power would create more, or necessarily because the normal masses would pay more for art. I don't think so. I think they want to pay what they are able to pay, because money doesn't grow on trees. And if you can't afford $1,000 painting, even though you don't value it that way, even though you value it at $1,000, doesn't mean that you're actually going to buy it. So is it really the matter of undervaluing art, or is it the matter of figuring out ways of having the doors less closed so that more people are able to make micro businesses out of their jobs, out of their artistic jobs, and not just either you make it big and you make millions of dollars, or you're a starving artist. So it's kind of like, how could we create, and I think that's the better question, how could we create a easier way of having a middle class? And that's basically how you do it. You need to figure out a way not to have we need to find a way to have a proper middle class for the artist. And if we can find a way to do that and to have that proper middle class, then we can find more value within the people who actually want to live out of the arts. Well, that's it. That's all I have to say on the subject. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.